Good morning, all of you lovelies, and as always, good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this and where you're watching it from. Welcome to the Block Party Bitcoin Daily Updates for the 9th of January 2021. And boy, we have kicked off 2021 in a pretty epic way. But to be honest, all good for Bitcoin. We could not be going really any better for Bitcoin at the moment. There is some absolutely huge fundamentals that are kicking off. Not only is the my favorite buzzword stimulus checks, and not only are they trickling into accounts now, but obviously with the Democrats taking the spearhead of America, we've got $2,000 potentially coming in, which is great news. So a lot of that's going to be funneling in down the line to bear in mind, and that's not yet. So I still think we have a big climb ahead of us. What else? Crypto's broken the $1 trillion mark. That's, huge news. Bitcoin has now flipped not only Facebook but Tesla as well, in the sixth kind of most valuable commodity in the world. So again, where you've got a lot of those fickle investors and traders out there now who, if you're not got a little bit of the pie of the top 10 assets in your portfolio, then do you even trade, bro? So we've got a lot of these things going on. We've seen a record volume of crypto going through PayPal, which is such interesting news, and I think probably one of the key fundamentals for driving Bitcoin price up, because of that barrier to entry, there's a lot of quite special people out there that kind of get put off at the first hurdle. So like having that kind of real reduced barrier to entry, but with such a very familiar and well accredited, trusted transaction platform as PayPal, people are going to start throwing the money at Bitcoin, even if they are buying all their lots above 40K, which, I guess would seem just pure insanity to us a matter of months ago. But now I guess this is the new norm. What else? We've got JP Morgan, now kind of backing MicroStrategy a lot here, which is looking great. And, there's a whole other mess of fundamentals behind Bitcoin, which are purely driving the price at the moment. But let's look at it from a kind of a more technical standpoint. And as you can see, there's on the actual chart itself, we've got some quite key support and resistance zones, which are now forming quite nicely. We have had resistances for just, a matter of days now, and they just keep on breaking and breaking and breaking. But one thing that has rung true, I've noticed, and it does happen just down here a bit, and I mentioned it a couple of days ago, how we could argue that this area down here had, you could argue a couple of double bottom here. Even though this wick kind of spun down a lot, I believe that was a kind of a singular big institution sell-off that caused this big wick here. But of this kind of support region here, we have like resistance that would have formed there. And that got flipped and it came down, bounced, and we see essentially a bit of a double bottom forming here. And pretty much immediately after, we see a very, very clean break and then up again. Then almost, in pure copycat fashion, we see another perfect kind of double bounce here, double bottom. Again, it's a very short-term double bottom, but it's just very specific two tests of the support there. And again, fly straight up, and we've seen it here, almost picture perfect. And we've got another one forming as we speak right now. So my prediction is, yes, I've kind of put a bounce here just because that seems to be very almost muscle memory now at the moment to expect that resistance there. But I guess if I'm going to adjust this ever so slightly, I kind of put it a little bit more like, probably like that. I think there's going to be very little resistance, maybe more up here actually. And that's kind of where I see Bitcoin going in the immediate 24 hours and breaking a new all-time high and starting its journey up to 50K, which is where my sentiment lies. 50K seems to be key for me at the moment. I kind of view that as the world's biggest psychological resistance in crypto history. Like Bitcoin hitting 50K. This is kind of up there with the crypto rumors of finding Excalibur, like this thing never was believed to exist or ever happen. And here we are talking about a very realistic breach of 50K within the coming days, weeks, whatever. From a alt standpoint, Bitcoin is being causing very, very big problems there, like in its huge swings as well. Like obviously, if you're a very experienced trader, this is a dream scenario for you, because you'll just be accumulating on the dips. But for the futures traders out there, I imagine you're going to be getting wrecked quite a lot. So volatility will continue. Just be wary of that. With dominance above 70%, 70% is definitely the new 60 for Bitcoin and the alt market at the moment. So it's still kind of tracking above 70%. Don't expect any rallies too soon. We want to be trading below that 70% dominance on Bitcoin for it to start to see a bit of a rally. The dream scenario is to get it above the latest all-time high and then range a little bit like we have here for a little bit, like we are doing at the moment. We've seen a good bit of alt traction at the moment, but again, just expect with this next spike, it's going to wreck you pretty hard in your alt world. So just bear that in mind. And then what else? Sell walls wise, we can just quickly dip into those. Nothing too significant here. As you can see, tracked on the chart, these are all the sell walls which are above 200 BTC, which at the moment isn't a huge amount, but these just help you give an indication where a lot of the buyers and sellers are looking to buy and sell. So we actually have quite a big scope there of where it can go. But there is no need to worry in regards to Bitcoin unless you are trading outside of these supports and resistance at the moment. We could go down as far as 33k and I believe still be in a very, very bullish fashion. And we are still due a massive correction at some point, so just be wary of that. But at the moment, like I said, a lot of the fundamentals are looking very positive.